reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 164. I'm Chris, and I am joined by the hairiest of... No, Harry's not here. I have got the master of... Draenor's not here either. Bill, are you there?
Yeah, so you got a guy.
I got a guy to show up and just maybe BS for a while, because really that's all we've done for 4-something years now.
I was going to say, welcome back to 2009. I feel like I need to put on a little bit of a Black Eyed Peas and Taylor Swift or something.
This goes back, well, I think we started MMO Reporter in like August 2010, right before PAX 2010, because that was our first PAX, and we decided to start MMO Reporter right before that, so that we'd have a show under our belt, so we could say, see, look, we is smart, we have show. When we went to the show floor, and so yeah, this will be 4 years this August of MMO Reporter, back how you and I used to do it.
5.
4 for MMO, because this is 2014.
Yes, you're absolutely
5
right.
if you go back to Lotra Reporter.
Exactly.
So, yeah, which is still going, going episode 200 and something now. Kind of crazy.
I know, that's their
kind of crazy.
Draenor and Carrie are just they took that torch. They took that torch, and it's burning brighter than ever.
It is burning very, very bright now. It is just the two of us tonight. We do have a lot of stuff to talk about. Well, no, we don't. It's going to be a short show, but we got really interesting stuff to talk about. Yes, we do.
Yes.
Before we do that, though, let's talk about what we've been doing in game. Bill, why don't you start?
Well, I took a page out of Harry's book. As you may have noticed, Harry Hall is not with us tonight, and somebody needed to drone on and on and on about Civ 5 and how incredibly fun and yet tedious and horrible and life-consuming it actually is.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get my snoring sound effect here.
It's not tedious. It's not actually tedious. It's or horrible. It is a little tedious, but it's not horrible. It's good. So I did my Civ 5 runs. I was actually all set to tell Harry about how I'd conquered the world with the Netherlands, Prince William, and he's not even here to hear about it. So I'm sad. Prince William of Orange is just, he's like, oh, well, I thought it was impressive. So yeah. And then friggin' Denmark. Holy crap. Like, what the hell? I don't mean to sound a little bit racist, but, I've got a real problem with Denmark these days. I'm just going to leave it at that. Friggin' Bluetooth. Anyway, so that was, I did some runs in Civ 5 and that, but I did actually play an MMO. I did play Guild Wars 2. Did some dungeon runs, did a little bit of a monthly quest and everything. I totally ignored the battle for Lion's Reach.
Lion's Arch.
You see, that's how much I didn't care. It's just
you changed the name.
The escape from Lion's Arch, brilliant. Loved it. Yeah. I looked forward to logging in at the end of every day. I wanted to join into that chaos. It was fun. I tried the stuff for the battle, and it was just blah.
I agree. And the battle, did you have a successful fight against the knights at all?
No. No,
You didn't get that far?
We did some of the pre-events. So we did down one of the nights, but never all three of them. So
I have never been in a fight that downed the night at all.
oh, I did down. I did because it was, if I remember right, is it the one night or was it 3 nights that then spawned the
Right,
the
so
ability
it's
to
several
access
of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we downed one, and
Huh.
but yeah, the other 2 weren't even close. So we didn't get what we needed.
Oh, I watched the cutscene on YouTube though.
Yeah, that's about what I did too.
I've seen the fight too on YouTube.
And the cutscene was not bad. I kind of I like what they're doing, but I'm also a little bit sad. Like they're obviously trying to build up Destiny's Edge 2 with the new quote unquote main characters.
Right.
And I feel they didn't really get anything out of the old main characters, you know?
No, you're reading it all wrong, Bill. You're reading this 100%. Sit down. Let me explain to you exactly what they're doing.
Okay,
Having listened to the MMO Reporter podcast a ton, they understand your affinity and my affinity for Palladium Books Rift. And therefore, the whole energy with the ley lines is really they're bringing rifts into Guild Wars 2. And we will soon see Leyline Walkers, Techno Wizards, and, of course, the Coalition coming to Lion's Arch to take hold.
See, that I could get on board with, and you know what? I would join the Coalition. I would be a part of that. I would be the Samus pilot, and I would be a happy gamer.
They need to make a freaking Titanfall, but in rifts and, like, Samus pilots.
So really, they need to do Titanfall with Leyline Walkers and dragons and glitter boys and
oh my god, they tried something similar with Shadowrun. I don't know if you remember the shooter version of that came out a few years ago, and it just bombed. And I'm going to blame it all on Games for Windows Live.
Yep, and it deserves all the blame that it gets for everything. I'm pretty sure that that platform caused droughts.
Yep.
Around the world.
Famines.
I'm pretty sure it spread a whole bunch of disease.
Yep, plagues everywhere.
Yeah, and yeah.
Games for Windows Live, how I hate you.
It wrecked Age of Empires. That's what it did. I used to love Age of Empires.
So many games. All right, so you.
But no, I seriously coming back to that. They're wrecking Destiny's Edge. They had this great thing. I read a piece online that there's I think it was on Reddit or something like that, postulating that they're killing off Destiny's, or not killing them off, but they're kind of shuffling Destiny's Edge and those heroes aside because the voice actors are too expensive.
Oh, really?
And that makes me sad that that's a consideration.
Well, but that's a rumor of a consideration as well. It's a perfectly viable rumor.
Perfectly viable. It was a post on Reddit. Come on, let's be serious here for a second.
I'm not saying that the source was reliable. I'm saying that the theory is viable.
I would not credit it. It is a viable theory, and it's a viable theory that makes me sad.
We go.
It stinks of I don't want to say poor planning, but really poor planning.
Well, maybe it just didn't shower today.
Sign your voice talent for like an extra year.
You know what? I will volunteer to do voice talent for Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, you could play.
I'm close.
What's the Asura's name again?
Oh gosh, the girl, Bill.
Yeah. Felicia Day. You could pull off Felicia Day. I think.
Brains, not brawn, will rule the world. No. I can't do it. Sorry.
I could do Ritlock, I think. I could pull off
Just put marbles in your mouth. Somehow that became like pirate or something. I don't know.
Yar.
It fits. Anyways.
So that was about my week. How about you, Chris? What kind of excitement did you get up to?
Other than my root canal, which we don't need to talk about because I did play some Wildstar before it went down. I recorded actually Wildstar Reporter episode 6 in game in the last few hours of the closed beta because that is over. We'll talk about all that stuff later. But it was really fun to sort of end that off. I actually made it right till server close at midnight and went to the dance party. Whee!
Of course, because
There's always a naked dance party at the end of betas because that's what happens. It just is.
Somebody needs to come up with a new tradition.
What?
I really think they need to go back to the whole Asheron's Call way of ending betas.
Oh, I know. Okay,
forget dance parties, it should be death and chaos everywhere.
Every time we have had an end of beta experience, you and I both talk about that. And I think every time it does need to be mentioned exactly what that was, even for those listeners who have already heard it, there may be a couple who haven't. So the end of Asheron's Call beta was not just, oh, look, time's up, flip the switch, servers off. No, they had a whole event leading up to beta, starting with an asteroid in the sky, small, and growing bigger as we got closer to the end of beta. And chaos going across the land. And just this whole story that would have been an amazing live world story for the end of beta. And it was amazing and memorable. And I will mention that for the rest of my life because it's amazing.
Turned it upside down. They had extremely high-level mobs where high-level mobs should not be. It was a complete invasion scenario. It was hopeless. You just died over and over and over, and you knew you were going to die, but you still kept going back anyway. And it was a lot of fun. And I think it was especially good because it was a little bit expected, but not entirely expected. Like you knew something was coming because of the asteroid and the comet or whatever you want to call it. And so there was a little bit of sense of foreboding, but when you got into those final hours, it was just boom.
Right.
Fun.
No,
Somebody do that. Seriously, somebody who makes decisions about this for a game that's going to be going through a beta sometime soon must be listening. Do that. Do that.
Agreed.
Take the extra 2 weeks, turn on, like, just get like a kid in there and just put spawn points all over your capital cities. Don't even let somebody do it intelligently. Just go angry click everywhere and let it run and spawn dragons on top of the level 1 trainer.
Agreed wholeheartedly. So anyways, back to Wildstar. Yes, that beta is over. They're on to weekend schedules now, which we'll talk about when we talk about the pre-orders. I played some Guild Wars 2. We ran Citadel Flames together there the other night. That was fun. I'm getting close to my breastplate that I need for my warrior, and I'm also leveling up my guardian, which I'm finding is wonderfully survivable. Like, I'm mowing through stuff like there's no tomorrow, and it's a blast to do that. I'm doing it with Greatsword. And then with Scepter and Shield. So I've got a couple different choices there. I thought I'd love Staff, but Greatsword it is basically a lawnmower through the mobs. And then I'm so survivable with the Scepter and Shield that it's almost funny. So that's really been quite a lot of fun to do those two things. Getting ready for Guild Wars Reporter's 100th episode, which was supposed to be this week, but we had to bump it to next week. So next Wednesday, I think it's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific, will be the live recording of Guild Wars Reporters 100th episode. And I hear we've got some gem codes to give away for all you Guild Wars 2 players. So, hey.
Fancy.
Bonus. I've also been in Neverwinter. And I made my my Hunter, I think it's called, Hunter Ranger. Basically, it's a melee / ranged character. Very cool. First ranged non-magic character in the game, so that's fun, using a bow. But I just got through the intro, and we're going to get into that together at some point, a group of us. So looking forward to that.
I am fully patched. I just have not logged in.
You need to make your character get through the intro.
I might be logging in right now.
We have a show to do here. Hello,
Are you telling me that I can't?
I lost him. He's gone. He's in Neverwinter now.
Sorry, multitask. That's where I was going.
Yeah. Yep. And where I have spent most of my time this week is not MMO land. No, it is Titanfall land. And oh my God, it's good. It is so good. It is the first shooter where I don't suck.
Well,
I don't. I'm actually leveling up nicely. I contribute to the matches. I'm actually doing quite well. My kill death ratio is not awesome, but I'm not. But that's the thing. I'm playing mostly hardpoint now, so I like capture points. So it's not about killing people; it's about getting the points. And because I know I'm not going to have the Twitch reaction times that I need to be a really great shooter person, I'm playing the support character role. Right? I'm not going sniper. I can never do well at sniper, but I can go around and cap those points and survive and, maybe get behind a few guys and snap their necks and fun stuff like that. But I spend as much time as possible on my Titan because that's just so much fun. Oh my goodness. And I am doing so well I surprise people because most people, when you get shot at, run away. I charge in and then I punch with my Titan. I punch until I either rip their arms off, rip the pilot out of the Titan, or get blown up in the process. And people don't expect that. I'm unexpected, you could say.
Well, there you go.
You tried it when you were over here.
I tried it, and it's not unfun. How about that? I'd throw in the double negative out there.
Yeah, but the not unfun means not worth your own money. To me, that's my thought. If it's
not what I'm going to buy today. We're going to talk about a couple of things that I probably will buy.
Yes.
And Titanfall doesn't pass either of them in my mind. I like it. It's a cool idea. It seems to be a pretty cool implementation of a shooter. I'm actually kind of excited to see if they turn it into a proper franchise and they do interesting things with it.
Yep.
Maybe it'll become an MMO. Maybe this is the franchise that needs to become an MMO. Elder Scrolls, you don't need to be an MMO. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Oh, wow. Good thing you're not doing a review or anything for that, because that would be horrible. You would not be the right person for that. You would not.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you, I don't think.
There is some biasness in your thought process there.
Well, not really. You know what I'm biased against? I'm biased against the fact that it's not that great a game.
I enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to enjoy the crap out of the world PvP, the realm versus realm versus realm.
I'm glad you're going to enjoy it. I hope you get many, many happy hours.
I hope so too. Not as much fun as MMO curling, but fun
that's
nonetheless.
the thing that needs to happen. Like, you joke, but
yes.
I would play that game.
Yes, I think all us good Canadians would. All right, let's move things along to the news. All right, we've got some Guild Wars 2 news. That's right, there's a blog post over on the community site for Guild Wars 2 talking about the April 2014 feature pack. Now, this is going to be something that they're going to be talking about over the next few weeks because they've got a blog post every few days here coming up. It's kind of exciting to see how much they're looking at putting out here. The first one, though, they've already got some information coming out about the new traits system. And the way that's going to work, basically, you're going to have 40 new traits and more. There is a little bit, I couldn't find it, and maybe some of our listeners can tell us why we're wrong, but it says right at the very end of the whole thing, the announcement post, it says, that you can go and check out the new traits and the horizontal progression system. And it links to this article here, Traits Unleashed, 40 new traits and more. And I see nothing here about a horizontal progression system. But before we get that far, Bill, can you tell us a little bit about what they're doing with the traits?
Well, long and short is they're basically trying to make it easier for people to understand what they're doing. They're trying to eliminate the accidental bad builds, quote unquote, bad builds, because
bad
the way
bills?
bad builds with a D at the end. Not
Sorry.
bad bills, because it really is. There's such a thing.
Really? Well, I get them in the mail all the time.
Yeah, well, yes.
Ching.
I see what you did there. Anyway, in Guild Wars 2, for those of you that aren't aware, you there's trait points to spend. It's like most other MMOs. You get a trait point to spend every level that you gain, but
Starting at level 10.
Starting at level 10. But the way the tiers work is you only get you only get special abilities or special bonuses every 5th point that you put into whatever trait line that you're choosing to trait you. I believe every character has 5 different trait lines. So what they've done is, instead of getting a point every level, they're changing it so that you get 1 point every 5 levels. So you can't really screw up your build and miss out on getting the bonuses and the extra abilities, which are kind of key to the characters. They're more important than the stat bonuses you get by putting points into different lines. So,
and you'll only start getting them at level 30.
Yeah, so you still get the same number of abilities. You're not getting more or less abilities, but it's making it simpler to spec out your character, which is it's probably a good thing. The game is now a year and a half old. They had a big burst of people at the start. There's a lot of veterans, but they're probably looking to try to reach out and grab a few new people, especially with like we're talking about here, a new feature pack coming in April. This is probably an opportunity for them to try to grab a new audience or grab a new group of people. And if you look at some of the titles of the other feature pack blog posts that they have coming up here, I think it seems like there's a bit of a theme there, especially the final 3, which are facilitating friendly play. Who likes friendly play? Newbies.
Oh, I like friendly play. I'm still a noob. I've been playing since launch, still a noob.
So I'm totally speculating at this point, because obviously I've only read the one blog post, but it kind of looks like that's the thread they're going for, and it's cool. It's a nice thing. So if you haven't tried Guild Wars 2 yet, if you can go out, either catch a sale for it, or even at regular price, it's still a good deal. It's a AAA MMO that you only pay for once, unless you go into the gem store and buy spider mounts.
Hey, none of that. None of that. Real quick though, each profession will get one new not just get one new, but they've got an example of some Grandmaster traits, new ones for each of the professions. So Elementalist will get an aquatic benevolence. The Elementalist is getting variety, blah, blah, blah. The one we'll introduce today is aquatic benevolence. This trait contains a new mechanic that will increase all healing to allies by a percentage without affecting the character doing the healing. Aquatic Benevolence has the highest of all outgoing healing effects currently in the game, sitting at a solid 25% healing power bonus when supporting allies. Engineers will have fortified turrets. Guardians will have, which is what it is, basically a shield around the fortified turrets. Guardians will have Force of Will, which will grant 300 extra vitality when slotted. Necromancers will have Unholy Sanctuary, which will allow you to turtle in your death shroud and slowly heal yourself, granting you additional survivability in situations that might otherwise spell certain death. Mesmers have Power Block, which will be introduced to the Domination line and will change the recharge of an interrupted skill from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. So this will not affect skills that have no recharge, but it'll be good in PvP and stuff, I'm sure. Rangers will have Read the Wind, which will
basically better bow.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, they're better with their bow, which is kind of the Rangers thing. I'm just going to jump into, because the Thief is kind of my thing.
Okay, go.
It's the Thief ability is called Invigorating Precision, which is basically the ability to allow your critical attacks to self-heal, which is kind of a big deal. It's because there's a lot of abilities in the Thief tree that actually allow you to crit a lot. And warriors can get the ability dual wield agility, which allows them to dual wield better.
Right. It will increase your attack speed by 10% when wielding an offhand axe, mace, or sword. Yay! Yeah, I love dual wielding, so that's a good thing for me.
And the other thing too with those kind of, I don't want to call them capstone traits because they're still optional, but they're introducing the notion that the traits that you do The new traits that you don't have yet are actually discoverable. They're not just things you automatically get by spending points now. Apparently, you're going to discover them in the world, or you can spend gold.
Unholy amounts of gold in the auction house.
Yes, probably crazy amounts of gold, at least until the economy grows and it becomes a pittance. But that's actually kind of a cool thing. I like the idea that there's going to be some traits that are earnable rather than...
It goes back to Guild Wars 1, where one of the things about Endgame was going around and getting all the skills you needed from the different bosses around the world. And so it's a nice nod to that, I think, at least. All this sounds... I mean, they're starting to put out all the features that you'd normally... This is a revamp, something akin to what you'd see in like an expansion pack or something.
I mean, there's expansions I've seen that I mean... To be fair, let's hang back and actually see what all these blog posts are coming out and everything like that. But a trait revamp, there's a couple of things there's going to be a blog post about the looking for group thing. Maybe that's going to finally leave beta. They've been calling it a beta feature for months and months now, and it's decent. But there's it looks like it could be interesting, and I have heard rumors that this NCSoft, or not NCSoft, ArenaNet is trying to sell this as they're putting out as much as most companies would do for an expansion. So this is kind of what they're calling an expansion. I don't know if it's going to be actually a full-on expansion or anything like that, but we'll see. This could be kind of cool. I'm excited to see what comes out for this. Speaking of expansions...
Yeah, there's a story over on MMORPG that hints about the possibility of there being an expansion for Guild Wars 2 in 2015. Now, this is something the author, Jason Winter, this is coming from a statement that was put out by a South Korean security firm, securities firm.
Big difference.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the lines in this was, however, NCSoft is scheduled to launch an expansion pack for Guild Wars 2 in the US and Europe in 2015. So
the thing that makes this more than just a site on the internet saying, ooh, Guild Wars 2 is going to have an expansion, is the fact that it is a securities site. And this is more reporting on financial projections and that kind of thing. So depending on what the source is for KDB Daewoo Securities, it could actually be a big thing because, and this is what the author's speculation is based on, is that that security sites and financial sites are a little bit more beholden to be correct rather than just spouting random rumors that sound good than, say, MMORPG.com saying, hey, look, new expansion, woo!
Surprise!
The security site is going to basically have more at stake if they screw it up. So that's... It's an interesting thing. I won't take it as gospel at that point, but it's an interesting thought. I don't even know what they would do, because this would be the first time the Guild Wars franchise, not the first time, it's only the second time the Guild Wars franchise has ever had like a quote unquote expansion. Guild Wars had several new games, like they actually released different
campaigns, they called them.
Well, yeah, but they did separate themselves a little bit from being just plain old expansions. They did. Yeah,
they were standalone first of all, right? Yep.
So interesting. Maybe, I guess, depending on how you read the word expansion, maybe an expansion to KDB Daewoo is a new campaign to ArenaNet, or possibly another feature pack, a 2015 feature pack, or maybe it's maybe it is a proper expansion or a technical expansion with world expansion, new features, new classes, blah, blah, blah.
It will be interesting to see. Now, Bill, I have something that's way more exciting than expansion news in Guild Wars 2. Are you ready for it?
Is it more exciting?
It is more exciting, and I'm going to start off here, and we're going to play a little bit of a trailer. This is coming at you from Carbine Studios.
Nexus, shining jewel of the galaxy. A wild, unexplored paradise lost to the ages deep in the starless expanse. Well, guess what? Now you can make this alien paradise your next adventure. How? Hop a ship and enjoy the ride. Explore the ruins of a mysterious, hyper-advanced civilization.
So yes, this is the pre-order trailer for Wildstar. The game is launching on June 3rd, and there will be 2 versions of the game available, a $59.99 standard edition or a $74.99 digital deluxe. All of the pre-orders will get, so if you pre-order, you'll get an exclusive rocket house, access to the beta weekends, we'll talk about that in a minute, 3-day head start, 3 days, not bad, exclusive housing trophy, pre-order title, and player name reservation. The standard version, the $59.99, gets the game, 30 days of game time, 3 guest passes with 7 days of playtime, and an Elden housing decor item. And if you get the digital deluxe, you get an Elden hoverboard, Elden augmentation costume, Elden title, and Elden die. So that is all the pre-order options that are available now. Bill, what do you think of this pre-order pack? Let's take apart. We don't need to have the conversation about whether this should be free to play or not free to play. It is what it is going to be. Looking at it from that way, $59.99 for the game. I mean, this seems like a pretty decent bunch of pre-order bonuses. It's not just focusing on the beta head start. Right, or the beta, I mean.
Yeah, and if it was 2009, I'd probably be pretty impressed. But it's there's nothing here that really makes me super excited to pre-order. I mean, I'm fairly dedicated to buying Wildstar and playing it anyway. So I would probably pre-order because it's going to be the same after I buy it anyway, and I'll then get a couple other things like the decor items and the 3 extra days to play and everything like that at the start.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a reason not to pre-order, but nothing here is. I guess it all depends on. Sorry, let me backtrack one step. It all depends on how the housing kind of plays out. Maybe the housing items and that kind of thing. If the housing is actually a central key part of the game, then that could be a cool feature and something good that you get out of a pre-order. Beyond that, if you're gonna play Wildstar, then go ahead and pre-order. There's nothing here that I think makes it more exciting to pre-order ahead of the time, though. If you're on the fence,
yeah. What about the standard versus? You know what? Here's something that you don't see all the time is the guest passes. I mean, you see that in WoW now, but most other games don't see these guest passes with 7 days of game time right out the gate. That's actually a pretty cool way to get your friends into trying out the game.
That is a good thing, and that is, I'm amazed that it's only 3. I don't know why you wouldn't give someone 100, because I mean, what's the harm? Get your, I mean, especially Wildstar, which is basically starting brand new IP, brand new or relatively brand new development house in terms of big name MMOs and everything like that. Why not do 6? Why not do 20?
Because you want some people who are going to spend the money just to try it out. And it's a perfectly reasonable way to make some money. They have to make money, right? This is they have to pay for all the development that they've put into this game.
Do you think a 7-day pass, though, is going to cannibalize any sales?
Yes, I think there's a small percentage at launch, maybe 1 or 2% of people who just buy the game on a whim, and if they have access to, because what's going to happen if they give 12 guest passes is people aren't going to give them out. They're going to put the codes up on Reddit. They're going to put the codes up on forums and stuff like that. And instead of people buying the game, then people are going to search out these passes, and they need to make the money back for their development so that they keep the game going.
And I think they're not going to make their money. they're going to make their money back by getting the word of mouth out there and actually selling it. Like if I bet you these guest passes are infinitely more valuable the moment that they convert someone. Like if you can convert, like if you throw out 100 guest passes for 7 days of free playtime and you get 2 of those people to actually buy the game and subscribe, I bet you that's still worth it.
Yeah.
And so it seems to be, I'm not complaining. I think it's actually a novel thing to do, to throw that out there right off the bat. Other games have done it well after the game is out the gate, and they're trying to kind of revitalize, doing it right out of the gate like this to grab new people. I think is a really good idea. But I mean, if you're going to go in, just go all in and give out a ton of those with each copy sold.
Yeah. All right. Digital Deluxe. It's only $15 more. It gets you some stuff in game that people would probably pay more than $15 in a cash shop for. It's an extra little bonus: a hoverboard, a costume, a title, and some dye.
Who's gonna pay $15 for that? I don't know. I mean,
you know what? In it, $10 for a mount is not unheard of, right? That's shut up, Bill. I'm not asking if you think it's right. I'm saying it's not unheard of, right? About $10 for a mount. WoW mounts have been known to be 20.
I really hope that there's lots of people out there that want to buy that mount for $10, because that means that they're pumping money into a good game without me having to buy a stupid mount.
Costume might be $2-3. A title, I mean, $15 is not a ridiculous amount of money for this stuff. You wouldn't buy it, so you think it's ridiculous, but I would, and I think it's good.
In the scheme of pre-orders and deluxe packages and everything like this, this is, well, it's not special in any way. This is like Milquetoast Deluxe Edition.
It's also not much more expensive.
It's like they were on Friday afternoon and they were like, oh crap, we got to put something together for the digital deluxe edition. Okay. Done.
But if they then made something really cool in there and charged $90 for it, would that be better?
It totally depends. It's like we've talked about before. It really depends. In theory, there are things that you could include in an edition or a deluxe edition that would make the premium worthwhile. In my mind, every one of those things is some kind of physical thing to go with the game. Cloth maps, statues.
But this is a digital deluxe.
A t-shirt or something like that. Exactly. Digital deluxe. I suppose it's technically possible that there's something like that my imagination hasn't come around to yet that would make me want to actually go digital deluxe, but it's certainly not here.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty great way to set it up. I don't necessarily love the linking of the beta weekends. I'm starting to maybe be converted a little bit by Harry Hall and having the beta weekends basically, the access to the beta weekends is part of the pre-order of paying in advance. But I think to me, at least, that's lessened a little bit by the amount of other stuff that you get. It's not just beta weekend and one other thing. You get the Rocket House, which if you're into housing is a pretty big deal. I will probably go with the Rocket House because it will be different. The beta weekends, whatever. The 3-day head start is pretty big. The housing trophy, whatever. The pre-order title, I kind of like titles. And reserving my name, it's a very common name, so I'm not as worried about it as others. But I might want to get Bob. Just Bob. And
if you don't get a too generic name, or you might open yourself up to getting your account hacked.
True. But that's a character name, not account name, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm pretty happy with the way this is set up. Yep. I think it's worthwhile, and I will be getting the digital deluxe. All right, Bill. There's another pre-order out there.
There is another pre-order, and I have to say I'm a lot more excited about this than I ever thought I would actually be. World of Warcraft Warlords Draenor pre-orders are starting, just as the Diablo 3 expansion pre-orders are ending, but we talked about that in pre-show. And I don't want to talk about that anymore. I'm really excited about I'm far more excited about the World of Warcraft expansion than I really thought I would be. There's cool stuff. They're jumping in with the whole player housing notion, which has been just something that there's always been like a constant thrum for in the World of Warcraft community, that it's never materialized. It seemed like an obvious thing for years and years and years, that why haven't we done this yet? It's just everyone else is doing it. Why aren't you doing it, World of Warcraft? They're finally doing that. So in the garrison system, which I'm really curious to see. Other than that, it looks like new art, new character models. The auto level to 90 is an interesting thing. That's kind of refreshing that they've just accepted that nobody really wants to go, or I shouldn't say nobody, but there's a great number of people that don't want to go 0 to 100 to to get through the game.
That's one of the things
to get to the actual end game. Like people. Yeah, like you and I, or at least me anyway, I didn't buy Mists of Pandaria, so I'm already 20 levels off the pace. So that's going to be a long time before I can ever even play what's considered the actual the start of the real game. Being able to get to 90 automatically is actually kind of a cool.
And then you can play through Mists of Pandaria. Now, the interesting thing is that I've bought all the expansions, and I've got a goblin. I've got a panda, and they're both sitting around level 40. That's about as far as I can make it before I lose interest. So I'm hoping skipping that and then making my way through Pandaria would be a good way to do it. I haven't decided, because I'll probably get one of these, and I haven't decided whether I'd bring my Death Knight up or my Panda Healer. I mean, there's just something to be said about one-button spam healing through dungeons, which is pretty much all I've done in WoW as I leveled my character, and it really is just one-button healing. I'm level 40-something, and all I'm doing is one-button healing, just spamming on the main tank, and sometimes throwing out a couple of things on some of the other people. And as long as nobody screws up, we're fine.
Yeah. It's
one button.
That's I think going to be the difficult thing, is that is sitting down and figuring out, okay, what do I want to take to level 90?
One button's not difficult.
No, I'm talking about the decision about what character you're going to raise up to level 90. That's going to be horrible for me, because I can think of, I've got rogues out there and hunters and shaman, and I've got I think at least 2 decently leveled Death Knights out there that I enjoyed back in the day. It's going to be hard to pick one. I've got a high level druid. I know that. Do I want to pick a completely new class that I haven't played seriously before?
We have to find a guild first, is what we have to do. Because I think come Draenor, I think you and I both want to get into a little light raiding if we possibly can manage it at some point somehow.
Well, there's the pickup rating system that they've got in there. I have a buddy at work that's actually said that's how he plays. Like, he gets a couple nights a week where he's at home alone, the wife is out and everything like that. He just jumps on and he raids, and he doesn't need a guild. He doesn't need to find healers or hunt.
The problem is when you type in, "Hi, I'm new to this. Oh, I got kicked." Crap.
Does that actually happen?
Yeah. I don't know.
So
I'm
when you
guessing.
sign up for another raid, what the heck? It's not like you,
Very true.
I gotta anyway. We'll see. It's the more I think about it, the more it is something I am actually going to try. So
yeah, it's definitely something I'm jumping back into as well. Maybe we'll have to get Harry in there too. You know what? Yep. That would be interesting to get the 3 of us and see maybe Draenor too. Well, Draenor has never really played WoW, but at least get the 3 of us in there. Get us up to get us all into a raid or something like that.
Ooh, we could do it could be a little thing. We could call it Rate My Pug. We could just jump into different pug groups, and we could rate the add-ons that join us. And do we give them an A? Do we give them an F? Who knows?
That's funny.
Welcome to the next episode of Rate My Pug.
All right. I totally misheard one letter in the middle of rate. But anyways, I don't make those types of jokes, so we're going to move things along right freaking now. From one uncomfortable moment to another, that's right, Star Trek Online is now available on Mac.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple things here. One, you know what? Good for Perfect World and everyone
Good job.
getting Star Trek Online onto a Mac. It almost feels like my initial reaction to this, and I'm really trying hard not to come off as condescending here because, you know, PC Master Race, everything like that. It feels like charity. It's like you're looking at those poor people who bought their Macs, and you know, people do love their Macs. And I'm not going to denigrate them. They're excellent machines. People love them. They obviously generate very strong emotions for people. That's great. There's just have no belonging in the gaming world. It's a charity thing whenever a game appears on a Mac. That's how it feels. That's my gut reaction. Maybe that's changing now, but I mean, I'm super happy that Mac gamers are now can experience the 4-year-old bleeding edge of MMOs.
Yeah, you know, I have to say, every time I jump back into Star Trek Online, I love the space combat. Love it. And can't stand the ground combat. Oh, it's better than it used to be, but it's just not for me. If I could do just the space combat, I would be happy.
I got to do my annual visit into Star Trek Online and see if it's going to pique my interest. The way that my playlist is coming up here in the relatively near future, I don't know how that's going to happen, but
Bill, that you are a citadel of an example of a great MMO player going to such a dark time will be the ultimate. I'm trying to put everything together from the next title and then bombing. Bill, you got a story to talk about?
Oh yeah. Speaking of the I don't want to say baseless hyping up of something that just has a good press line, but it's not too far off from that. Citadel is a new studio that's founded that's espousing the virtues and their full intention to build the next epic sandbox game, and they've built an all-star cast of developers from games like Ultima Online, Eve, Ultima Online, Dark Age of Camelot, and Warhammer Online, and hoping to inspire the development of a game in the vein of Ultima, Eve Online, and Minecraft. So, with no title, no release date, and artwork that people have only seen if they ran into Citadel people at games conferences. So it's, you know what, I love hearing about the ideas. I'm really glad there's people that are going for this because, you know, it's always exciting when a brilliant sandbox title comes out. Like it obviously generates a lot of buzz. People get really excited about the next Eve, the next Minecraft, that kind of thing. I'm gonna let this percolate for a while before it gets me at all hot and bothered.
Yeah, I like Dark Age Camelot. I liked Warhammer Online. I was one of the few liked Warhammer Online. Played Ultima Online in a freaking internet cafe, for crying out loud. So you know I like that. But I just would love to see more. But hey, good on you for starting up your studio. Can't wait to.
They're saying cool things, and if they do what they say, then I'll be impressed.
Agreed. Speaking of saying cool things, let's take a quick second before we end the show to talk about our sponsors, Doghouse Systems. They are a fantastic, wonderful, super awesome boutique PC maker. They will make your next computer, and they will do a fantastic job of it. Carrie of Loach Reporter has her Doghouse system and absolutely loves it. Now we've teamed up together, and if you use the coupon code MMO Reporter at doghousesystems.com, you're going to be able to double your RAM for free, which is always great. Free is good. And of course, Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter to get your first month free. What does that first month get you? Why, it gets you one book. They have a deal where it's a subscription service. You sign up for a monthly fee. The trial that we've got here going on is a 1 book per month trial. Not the trial. It's a 1 book per month subscription, and you can go to audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. You'll sign up for that, and you'll get your first month free, which means you'll get a free audiobook. And if you decide to cancel at any time, you get to keep your audiobook, which is fantastic. So when you run out of podcasts, audiobooks are the way to go.
Just a little bit of, just because I wanted to throw it out there. Patrick Rothfuss, Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear, both available on Audible. You know, good books, really good. If you're not going to read it, give it a listen. Do it for free.
There you go. Bill, if people want to get a hold of us, how can they do that?
Well, there is a lot of ways, Chris, and I feel like I've said this before, but I'm going to do it again. Check out MMOreporter.com for our website to get links to all of the fantastic MMO Reporter podcasts out there, including Too Long Didn't Listen, if that has made its triumphant return, if I may say so myself. Send us an email at mmo.reporter@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/MMO Reporter. You can tweet at any of the various MMO Reporter personalities, including Mr. @MMO_Reporter, Mr. @Harry Hall, Mr. @Leonor, or Mr. @MMO Bill. Give us a call at 616-666-6778, or click the widget on the side of MMOreporter.com. And finally, we have entered the YouTube age. You can check us out over at youtube.com/user/MMO Reporter Network for YouTube versions of all of our podcasts, as well as all the excellent gameplay videos and other MMO Reporter magic that appears on that fancy little channel.
Yay. Thanks, Bill. It's been a fun show this week.
It has. It's inspiring. I feel 5 years younger.
It's just been absolutely great. It's like we've shed some unneeded weight or something.
Yeah, a little bit. How many steps did you take today? I'm at like 12,000.
I was talking about Harry and Leonor, but hey, whatever.
Oh, I was trying to let it slide, but they're not unnecessary weight. It's more.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the music.
Look at that. It's almost like I'm queuing us out here.
How did you get this hook in my house?
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, everyone, for listening and downloading the podcast week after week. We really appreciate it. We hope that you download the podcast again next week, but most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish.